Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, after the absolute smash hit that was Spider-Man 3 No Way Home, bringing back, of course, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man's, it was something that was an absolute smash hit with the fans. A lot of people absolutely loved it. It was one of those movies that I really, really enjoyed it. Now, I didn't go see it at the box office because at the time I was so upset with Marvel that there was no way in hell I was going to give them any money in any way, shape, or form. But after I did get to finally see it on streaming, I absolutely loved it. The movie was a blast. It had just enough fan service that I thought was really enjoyable. And getting to see all three Spider-Mans on screen together was absolutely hilarious. They had great chemistry together. It was just an all-around wonderful time out there. And I really enjoyed the ending of the movie because now we have the entire world forgetting who that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, including absolutely everyone, including Iron Man, including everybody else, Zendaya, all that other kind of stuff out there. The MJ that's not MJ in the character in the movies, all of that kind of stuff, right? So I was like, oh, cool. We're finally gonna be able to get a proper Peter Parker. We're gonna get a proper Spider-Man, the genius that it is going forward. So I'm honestly cautiously optimistic for the future of the Spider-Man franchise, and it looks like we've got our first updates from none other than Tom Holland himself about the Spider-Man 4 movie, what the script, some of the script stuff that it's being worked on, where it sits at right now, and my absolute favorite part, the fact that Tom Holland now has the authority to put his foot down when they make things that go against the Spider-Man character and against Peter Parker, and he wants to respect the fans and respect the character and whatever projects he does going forward with the Spider-Man character, and I absolutely love to hear that. It is so refreshing and so nice to hear out of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got this article over here from Variety.com that breaks down some of that kind of stuff and some of the challenges that they're facing right now with getting Spider-Man 4 off the ground. But we've also got this lovely little clip over here from Tom Holland as well, where he comes out and talks about the fact that he wants to respect the fans and respect the source material and give us a good quality representation of the Spider-Man that will absolutely make the fans happy. And holy cow, is that so nice to hear, and might actually make us a little more cautiously optimistic about what the future of the Spider-Man franchise holds. So we're going to check out all this information. We're going to break it all down for you, give you all the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below, letting us know what you think about this. Does this make you more optimistic? Does this make you excited for the Spider-Man 4 movie out there with Tom Holland talking about how they want to respect the character, they want to respect the fans out there and give us something good quality out there? Or are you still going to be completely and totally wary of all things Marvel for quite a while until they actually show you that they have turned things around? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. All right, from Variety.com. Tom Holland read Spider-Man 4's script with Zendaya and says it's excellent but needs work. Fitting sequel into the MCU pipeline is a challenge we're facing. And that's one of the things that I really like seeing about that. And that's, of course, completely and totally understandable, especially with all the different moving parts you've got with the MCU and the multiple movies and all that kind of stuff. But before we run down all of that part and get into all of that, I want to go into the part that really made me excited about this. So shout out to Quarter Black Garrett over there for pointing this out and retweeting this out there on Twitter and putting it out there, because this is one of the parts. We're not going to watch the entire clip here, but this is one of the parts that I think is really important. They go through and they talk about the fact that he now because he's a star in Hollywood, because now he's got all of these movies under his belt, and because he's done all this, he has a lot more power now. He can actually say no. He's a big enough star that he can refuse things if he doesn't want to do them. So this is one of the nice parts. He says he's talking about Robert Downey Jr. with having to use that power, and essentially it comes down to he now understands that with this great power he has, the ability to say no because he's a big enough star in Hollywood now, it indeed does come with great responsibility. And this is him talking about some of the responsibility that comes with that.
Am I going to do justice to the character? Am I going to do justice to the fans? I definitely don't want to just make a movie for the sake of it, because that's not what Spider-Man represents.
And he's right. He's absolutely right. And so how refreshing is that to hear out of a Hollywood actor after the years and years and years and years we have all faced as fans, getting bashed on by these Hollywood studios, getting talked down to by these actors and these actresses and these directors and these writers, going, well, you're just a stupid little child, you're just a phobe, you're just an itch, yada, 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 yada. How refreshing is it to hear somebody come out there and go, I don't want to do a reinterpretation. I don't want to rebuild it my own image. I don't want to have my own narcissism and my own self injected into this character. No, I want to respect the character. I want to respect the fans. I want to respect the lore. I don't want to just make something for the sake of making it. It needs to be a good story, and it needs to be something like that. And he kind of just continues on a little bit here over in the next clip as well, as far as it's talking about right here. It literally just picks up right from that last moment right there. So right, like he's talking about wanting to respect the fans. He's talking about wanting to make a good quality story for the movie, for the Spider-Man fans out there. And this carries on.
It's a complicated one, and I feel like I owe it to them to give and deliver.
Talking about the fans still here. He owes it to the fans.
the best version of what the next chapter for Spider-Man looks like. And I think that's really important. And I think the creative integrity for something like that is really important. And the studio is on board and supportive. And
that's the best part. The creative integrity. He wants to make sure that it's accurate to the source material. He wants to give you a good Spider-Man movie. He wants to give the fans a good Spider-Man movie, that Spider-Man deserves better than just doing things for the sake of doing them, just trying to crank out another money maker out there, trying to crank out another $1 billion box office. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So this gives me a lot of cautious optimism, if anything, borderline optimism. If Tom Holland really does have this kind of charge, he does really have this kind of say, he really can put his foot down, he really can have this kind of power. And that seems like, especially after the rumors we've heard of Marvel cleaning out all of its activist producers, it looks like we might actually end up getting a fair representation of the Spider-Man character going forward. So where is the current state of the script? Well, that's one of the things that they're working on right now. So Tom Holland revealed during a recent interview on the Rich Roll podcast that he recently read a draft of the script for his fourth Spider-Man movie. And it needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. Variety confirmed in September that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings filmmaker Destin Craniel is in early talks to direct the sequel, taking over Holland's franchise from the trilogy director John Watts. Honestly, considering it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, kind of hoping maybe that doesn't happen. But I did hear the movie was pretty visually stunning. I heard the story was just crap. So maybe if there's somebody else who's writing the story and this guy's directing it, it'll still end up turning out okay. We'll see what happens. One of the things is that with Marvel, your film is a small cog in a large machine. Spider-Man 4, talking about the Spider-Man 4 development, that machine has got to keep running. You have to make sure you can fit into that timeline at the right time to benefit the bigger picture. That's one of the challenges we're facing. The time in which we need to get that done is a tall order, but we're definitely achievable with the people we have working on it right now. And that's, of course, understandable. Are they trying to fit this in before Doomsday? It kind of sounds like that. It would make sense that they're trying to slip this in before Doomsday, but it'll kind of end up seeing what ends up happening and how this all lines up with the timeline. And of course, if they can get all the work done. I mean, they do have time before Doomsday. See how quickly they knock this out. Hopefully they just don't rush it, but it sounds like Tom Holland is definitely all about making sure this is good. It ends up being a good movie that's an accurate representation of Spider-Man. So he goes on to say, we have a creative and we have a pitch and a draft, which is excellent. It needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. I read it 3 weeks ago and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together, and we at times were bouncing around the living room. Like, this is a real movie worthy of the fans' respect. The fans' respect. Boys and girls, tell me that is not a beautiful thing to hear out of someone who essentially sounds like he's got some pretty decent authority when it comes to the future of Spider-Man and the character going forward. Tom Holland is all about talking about the fans, talking about respecting the source material, talking about doing things that do justice to the Spider-Man character. And ladies and gentlemen, praise be to God, because that is so refreshing to hear, because after so many times of going, well, we're going to reimagine the character in our own image, you've got Tom Holland coming out there and going, look, I'm a star Hollywood actor now. I've got authority. I've got a power. And guess what? I'm going to use that power to make sure the fans are happy, to make sure you get a movie that you absolutely love and that's respectful to the source material and respectful of the character. Tell me that is not a beautiful change. Tell me that is not so refreshing to hear. And tell me, even for all of us, those of us that are the most jaded for the Disney Marvel universe out there, if he really does have this authority, lining up with the fact that we're hearing about all the cleaning of the house that Kevin Feige has done, tell me this doesn't at least give you a cautious bit of optimism. Tell me, if nothing else, this is not a refreshing breath of fresh air to hear a Hollywood actor out there, a star of the Marvel franchise, come out there and go, you know what? I ain't doing nothing unless it respects the fans and it respects the characters. I'm not just going to make something for the sake of making it. I'm not just going to feed your machine. I am going to make sure that the fans of Spider-Man are respected and that we give them a good quality story. Well, Tom Holland, I hope absolutely everything you are saying is true, because that would be very, very pleasing to the fans. And as we've always said, if you make the fans happy, we will make you rich. And at the end of the day, Tom Holland, you and the rest of Disney Marvel will get exactly what they deserve.